What if the king who started the age of pyramids wasn't the one you know? Before Djoser, before the step pyramid, before stone reshaped eternity, there was a forgotten ruler. A king with no pyramid, no grand statues, almost erased from history. His name was Sanakht, and without him, the age of giants may never have begun. Around 2686 BCE, Egypt stood on the edge of transformation. The early dynastic period was ending, and the old kingdom was about to begin. The land was unified, but that unity was fragile. Power depended on tradition, not yet on massive monuments. Kings ruled, but they hadn't yet learned how to prove their rule for eternity. Then came Sanakht. He may have been the first king of the third dynasty, though even that is debated. And that very uncertainty tells us everything we need to know. Sanakht ruled in a time where history itself was still being invented. His era was a blank page, waiting for someone to write the first chapter in stone. He wasn't just a king. He was a bridge between what Egypt was and what it was about to become. Sanakht's name appears only in fragments, scattered across time. Some ancient king lists ignore him completely. Others place him right at the beginning of this new glorious age. His Horus name means something powerful, strong protector or strong of body, and this wasn't just symbolism. One royal skeleton, believed by many scholars to be Sanakht himself, shows signs of gigantism. This man may have been over 1.9 meters tall, a true giant in a world where most men were far shorter. Imagine the effect this would have had. A towering king standing before his courtiers, priests, and soldiers. Power didn't need an explanation. It was right there, personified in a ruler who was literally larger than life. His sheer presence would have been a statement of authority, a living symbol of divine strength. Unlike the pharaohs who came after him, Sanakht left behind very little. There's no massive pyramid bearing his name, no long inscriptions boasting of his victories, no carved walls telling his story for all to see. But absence does not mean weakness. Sanakht ruled at a critical transition point, a time when Egypt was shifting from mud brick to stone, from memory to monument. His primary role was to govern and maintain stability. And stability is invisible until it's gone. His job wasn't to dazzle future generations with grand projects, but to prepare the kingdom for them. He laid the groundwork, ensuring the state was secure and the resources were in place for the revolution that was to come. And here's where Sanakht's true importance becomes clear. During his reign, Egypt began its first serious experiments with stone architecture. Before him, kings built their tombs out of mud brick. These structures were temporary, fragile, and ultimately mortal. They were meant to last a lifetime, not an eternity. But after him, stone became destiny. Sanakht didn't build the step pyramid himself, but he made it possible. He stabilized the state, strengthened royal authority, and passed on a kingdom that was ready for transformation. History always remembers the builders, but builders need solid foundations. Sanakht was the foundation upon which the age of pyramids was built. Without his quiet work, the magnificent structures that define ancient Egypt might never have existed. So, where was Sanakht buried? The truth is, no one knows for sure. It's one of the great mysteries of his reign. Some archaeologists believe his tomb lies at Beit Khalif, a massive mud brick mastaba unlike anything that had been built before it. This tomb is enormous, far larger and more complex than those of his predecessors. If this was indeed his final resting place, it shows a king who was already thinking bigger, planning for a grander legacy. It was not yet a pyramid, but it was no longer an ordinary tomb. It was the mark of a king testing the boundaries of eternity, pushing the limits of what was thought possible. He was reaching for something more permanent, something that would outlast him. Then came Djoser. With his brilliant architect Imhotep, Djoser built the step pyramid at Saqqara, and history shifted forever. Stone monuments, the concept of divine kingship, and eternity carved into the earth, it all began with him. And Sanakht, he was forgotten, overshadowed by the very greatness he helped create. He wasn't forgotten because he failed, but because he succeeded so quietly. He was the silent partner in one of history's greatest achievements. He prepared the stage, and when the main actor appeared, the audience forgot who had said it. Sanakht was not the loudest king. He was not the most famous, and his name isn't carved in stone across the Egyptian landscape. But he was the king who stood between the old world and the new. Without Sanakht, there is no Djoser. Without Sanakht, there is no Imhotep. And without Sanakht, There are no pyramids reaching for the sky. He ruled in the shadows so that others could rule in the sunlight. And sometimes the most important kings are the ones history almost forgets. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey into the past, don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories hidden in history.